Today we're going to continue our summer series with a little bit lighter theme like we have been doing the last couple of weeks, and we're going to be sharing another funny story from our marriage. Today we're going to be talking about our first house, and somehow I want to call this the haunted house, but you're going to love hearing all of the great stories about our experience in our first house, so stay tuned. What's up, Heather?
I thought you were going to say, hello, folks.
Hey, bear. I was, I listened back to all of our podcasts and just to make sure, there's no problems with them. And it's usually the next day after we've already posted it. But if something were to be wrong, I could always just go back and get rid of it. But I noticed that every time our eyes kind of say the same thing. I'm like, hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. This is Rusty and Heather Bryant, and we're glad to be back with you. And I was like, I'm just going to do something different because I noticed myself saying the same thing. But there's probably people out there that they just get that warm, fuzzy feeling when they hear me welcoming them in the same way. They're like,
be sure and let us know if you get that warm, fuzzy feeling.
They're like, oh, I'm
They're
home.
back.
I'm home. This is my safe place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anywho, hey, we know summer is people are traveling and busy and doing all kinds of things. And so we know that a lot of people are like way off their schedule as far as what I think is that people listen to our podcasts at like normal times. It's, some people on their way to work, some people when they're doing chores, some people when they're exercising, that kind of thing. And people are just messed up in the summer. And so those of you, I'm saying that because it's been interesting to watch. Like, we can kind of see when people listen to our podcast, and it's been so...
Not specifically.
Oh, no, we're watching you. We're stalking
Jane
you.
Doe has not listened today.
No, we do not. I mean, AI is big, but and good, but not that good. At least we don't think so.
Yeah.
No, we're able to just tell, the days of the week, and it's been so crazy. Like, some days where we're normally way up, it's been down, but then on day like today, I mean, it's Father's Day. Like, who's listening to podcasts today? And then our numbers spike way up. So, it's...
Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
And to all the fathers out there, or potential fathers, or soon-to-be fathers, or people who have fathers.
Yeah.
Does that cover everybody?
So I'm about to give a teaser real quick because we're not going to talk about it because we haven't had a chance to. But I got a Father's Day present that another marriage ministry sort of a thing sent us, and it was...
Don't tell.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just setting you up. I'm setting you up because we're going to talk about it sometime really soon when we get a chance.
And I got off really easy because he's like, "That is all I want from Father's Day."
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So if they're listening, they'll know what it is. But thank you so much for my Father's Day.
And we'll tell you about it later. We promise.
Yep. Want to have a chance. It just came yesterday, so we want to have a chance to be able to check everything out.
Yep.
All right. So today, going to tell a little story, another little funny story. I think people out there probably have some pretty funny stories about the first places that they lived because, I think we all start from humble beginnings, or at least most of us do. And, those first few years of marriage, you're just trying to, get things going and there's some interesting plases that you will live just to be together. So our story is this: we got married very quickly out of college. As soon as we finished college, we got married, and the first job we took, I was actually a youth minister, and we will. The place will remain nameless so that no one feels bad about the situation that we were put in. But I was a youth minister, and they provided, we're going to call it a house. Oh my goodness.
to go so far as to call it a house. They did provide it for us, so it was free.
Right. And I think part of the reason they provided it is because it was kind of like a parsonage is what, a lot of churches, especially in the past had like houses that like.
And to be fair, that was 25 years ago.
Oh, yeah. But there would be houses that pastors, could live in as part of their payment package. And they didn't pay us very much, so we just got this house and a little bit of money while I was going to seminary. So we're going to try to describe this house to you.
Just our favorite parts.
There's a lot of them.
Can I start?
Well, so, okay, but we got to... Yes, but you got to tell, like, where it was located, all that kind of...
That's my first
thing. All right,
thing.
let's go.
My favorite... I was going to go first because...
Okay, before you go there, we've got to describe the actual house itself. Like, because people are picturing what this house looks like.
Okay.
Tell them what it looks like.
What I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted was that the first thing you have to know about this house is it was in the parking lot of the church.
Yes.
Okay? Not like down a grass hill or over a creek. It was in the parking lot.
Yeah, like you could literally pull into a parking place.
Right next to our bedroom door.
And the bumper of your car would basically be touching our house.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is it was a cinder block house.
Yes.
Okay? No brick, no wood, cinder block. And it had a flat roof.
Flat roof,
cinder
Was it
block.
a tin roof?
No, that would have sounded cool.
I know.
No, it's just... But it didn't have like a
I don't know what it was.
roof.
I know. I don't know what I don't remember.
I don't think it was tin.
We were probably too scared to look up there.
But it was just flat. So like literally picture a cardboard box, a big cardboard box. But instead of cardboard, it was cinder block. A box, like no shape to it. Like, oh, you can tell that's the garage. There's no garage. Remember,
no garage.
Yeah, you parked in the parking lot. And there wasn't a backyard it was just a block in the middle of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Did I do good?
That was pretty good. So we can...
So concrete, just
concrete.
In case people are like cinder block.
Concrete. So there was no insulation.
No.
Like at all.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the inside was concrete.
Mm-hmm.
The outside was
the
concrete.
The inside of the concrete block was on the inside.
That's right.
The outside of the concrete block was on the outside.
So, here's we'll start. If you were to come and visit us, although we didn't prefer it this way, this is the way it would happen. So this is part of the funny story. You would drive up, just like I said, into a parking place, and you would basically almost hit this little ramp of a walkway. Mm-hmm. And the little ramp of a walkway, which was very short, would lead you to a door. Mm-hmm. And that's the only door you could see in the house because it was right in the middle of the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And there was another door, but I'm not sure we ever even opened that door.
Around the side.
But
you couldn't see it.
But the around the side was actually the front door.
Right.
But nobody ever... I mean, I'm not kidding. I think I remember opening the front door one time in the year that we were there.
Probably the pastor of the church because he knew the door was there.
Maybe so. So instead, the door that you would use to go up this little ramp, so people would just knock on the door, and we were youth ministers, so kids were just coming all the time. They would knock on the door. You open the door, and there you were in our bedroom, like right in our bedroom. And remember, we were newlyweds, so this was like hey, welcome to Actionville.
Welcome to our home, to our lovely abode. Here's my bedroom, which means we had to make up the bed every day.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, that's
because
right.
That's how people came into our home.
Yeah, and our bedroom had to stay.
And you walked through the bedroom, and there was the kitchen.
There was the kitchen right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if we make our way through the house, there's plenty of other funny things about the house. Okay. So let's go. Well, we're in the bathroom. I mean, in the bedroom.
Yeah, and there's a bathroom.
There's a
in
bathroom.
there.
So you want to go towards the bathroom. Go to the bathroom.
Okay, so there.
Go to the bathroom. Hurry.
There's 3, and I don't have your list. You're looking at your phone.
Well, I made some notes
Okay,
just in case.
well,
I didn't want to forget some.
Because if you have been listening ever to our episodes, you see I don't need a list. Let's just talk about it. But he's over there with his phone and his list, so I might be messing up the order. But we're going to start in the bedroom, and there were 3 hilarious things about the bedroom / master bath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right. The first thing is, do you care which one I tell?
No, just go.
Okay. So the first one is probably my favorite thing about the house is the potty. Okay? So you would sit down and do your business.
Is that what happens on the potty?
Uh-huh. You sit down and do your business, or stand up and do your business. And when you would flush, the toilet paper would come up in the street by our house.
Mm-hmm. The front street
street.
where the front door was.
Yeah, the little street that
Mhm.
kind of went beside the parking lot.
Beside the park.
So everybody knew when we went to the bathroom.
Well, it wasn't every time, and that was the thing that was so crazy. We had there was no rhyme or reason for when it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you could just kind of look outside, and there was obviously a pipe that was going into the street.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then you would look out there, and there would be the toilet paper from the business.
And we would have, I'll never forget being so excited about our parents coming to visit. It was my parents that were coming to visit. And my dad goes, do you know there's toilet paper floating in the street? And I was like, why, yes.
Yes, we do.
Thanks for noticing.
That's the welcoming committee.
So that's the potty. Okay?
Mm-hmm. You still going?
No, you can do another one.
Well, also in the bathroom, the shower was an extremely interesting experience because when you would run the water, which, first of all, I'm not sure we ever took a bath because the place was pretty disgusting. So take a shower. It was in the bathtub, and the drain.
Yeah, that's important. Is the bathtub / shower.
Right. It wasn't like a stand up.
Yeah, it's not like you have a separate shower like most people do now.
That's right. So this was a house that had a shower that was, which I mean we have that in our boys' bathroom.
Yeah.
But the drain would not drain the water very well.
Right.
And so as you were standing there taking a shower, it just kept filling up. And by the time you finished your shower, you were at least ankle, shin, low shin, full of water. And so then the next person would just be like, well, I got to wait this out.
Well, and then not only that, but I would finish, and then there would be soap gathered around my mid shin. And so I would have to turn on the bathtub water and wash one leg and step out, and then reach back in with the other leg and wash off that soap and then stick out. And Rusty was getting up at the butt crack of dawn to go to seminary because you were driving an hour and a half to go to seminary. Yep. And so I would be like, oh, please go ahead and get up and get your shower so I could wait 30 minutes for the shower to drain before I got in to shower. Because if not, it was like, let me step into your filth and take a shower. And then I'm washing both our filth off my shins.
Yeah. And, this is a marriage podcast. And so we were newlyweds. We had no idea that you could even shower together because that wasn't happening.
Solve the problem?
No, we weren't gonna stand there in each other's
filth. Yeah, you're
nastiness.
Right.
So it took us years to get over that PTSD. That's
right. And I still have PTSD from this house, y'all. We have since we came back to Clinton, moved into an apartment, and then after that we built our first house. And I don't think that I could let me just say this loosely, I would love to only live in a house that has my germs in it. So we built one house, and then we were able to build a different house, and we're still in that house. So I've since then, besides that short-lived apartment, I've never lived in a house that somebody else's
Right,
filth was
right.
in, because it traumatized me. Okay, third thing. Now
Okay.
you have to help about this
Okay.
one because it's funny.
Okay.
Okay, this is a shorter version. So we had a space heater in our bedroom.
Mhm. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically there was no central
Heat.
or air.
Mm-hmm.
So this heater was against the wall, and it had the pilot light and
Yep.
everything. And then you would have to turn it on to get
And
it to get it to
produced a good amount of heat
yeah,
because we didn't have to leave it on very long.
Right.
At night, and we were like, "Oh, turn it off."
Yep.
But thankfully,
Yep.
it produced a lot of heat, and we didn't have to leave it on long, because I cannot do it justice, but Rusty can do it perfectly. Are you ready?
This is what it
The
sounded
sound
like.
of the heater.
All right, it sounded like this. I don't know how this is going to sound in a microphone, but
It's
we're
gonna
going to
sound
try.
perfect.
It sounded like this.
Yeah, it wasn't constant. You crushed it. Yeah, it definitely wasn't there's the noise and it was constant. It would start, stop, get louder, get softer, stop, louder, softer, louder, louder, louder.
It just sounded like somebody was up in our bedroom just blowing it out.
And we would just lay there and laugh.
Just laugh.
Like we could not, we would be like, okay, stop. And then we'd just start laughing again.
Oh yeah. So there was one other. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. So the other story of the bedroom was one night we're laying in the bed and I felt something on my face.
It wasn't my
No, it wasn't Heather
eyelashes.
trying to get frisky. So I was like, what is that? And I reached up and I kind of swiped at it. And you know how you just get that feeling that something was crawling on you. So I brushed it off, and then I quickly I jumped up and turned on the light, and sitting on my pillow, I'm not kidding, it was the biggest cockroach I have ever seen in my life. And you freaked out. It was the middle of the night. And you said, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
We are not staying
That's
in
right.
this
I
house
was
until they come. And we had some dear friends. We called them in the middle of the night, and we said, this is the situation. They were very sympathetic to what was going on. They were church members, and they knew what was they knew. And so they were like, come on over. And
because I was like, we can go there or we're going to a hotel.
Yeah, and
because I'm not staying
And
here.
I think we stayed there a couple of nights until they could get an exterminator to come and spray everything.
And that wasn't the first roach we had
Oh,
seen.
no. We saw them.
It's just the one
that was sleeping with us.
There were probably more sleeping with us. That's the first one we caught. So that's bedroom / bathroom.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so couple more stories.
And then we got to move on. Okay, so the back bedroom.
Well, I think before you got
we
there,
had no dishwasher as you go through the kitchen,
that's
which
right.
not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
but we
that
didn't
was
have
like
a
that in our
dishwasher.
apartment too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we learned how to wash dishes just by hand. So we did that all the time. And then but there was a little den / living room area. So where our TV was.
Yeah.
Now remember, there was no central air
or heat.
or heat. So there was a window, basically a window unit was somehow in the wall, in the window, something. I don't even remember where it was. But it was, so it would get really hot, and obviously you had to turn on the window unit. Well,
And it cooled great.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. It cooled great.
Cooled great. But it was so incredibly loud that you could not have the air conditioner on and watch TV at the same time. So we'd be like, hey, because, this is back in the day, you're not streaming things.
You had the VCR stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Record
So you would look at you'd be like, okay, we want to watch our show at 7 o'clock. So at 6:30, we got to turn the air on, crank it down as cold as we can get it, and then go in there with blankets on, turn it off, watch your show, take the blanket off halfway through the show, start taking off clothes halfway through the show. By the time the show's over, we're just sitting there naked on the sofa watching
Watching
Friends, you know. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do.
That's right. So yeah, and we did that every time. I would record Days of Our Lives. Sorry, I don't anymore, but that was my entertainment back in the day. And I would record it, and I would come home and turn on the air for a good 30 minutes before I sat down to watch it. Okay, the last thing.
Okay, yeah, the
is
last
probably
thing,
my favorite.
Yeah, and there's two things about this. So let's go towards the back of the house and then come back to the front of the house with this story. So you got to remember that there's no insulation, no central heat, no central air. So it's just humid all the time in there. I mean, we're in South Mississippi. Oh, I told a lot. So it's just like, it's just wet. It just feels wet all the time.
Like you go for a run and you feel like you're swimming in the dead of summer. I mean, it's hot.
Yeah. So we had curly hair all the time.
That's right.
And that was before I lost all my hair. So, all right, go ahead. And I know what you wanted. What were you going to tell?
Well, there's two.
I know.
Which one?
She's doing hand motions.
This one or this one?
Well.
Okay, I'll do this one.
Yeah.
Okay, you do this one. Okay. So
if y'all could just see us right now. We're playing charades.
So the back bedroom, so we had the master bedroom, and then we had a guest room, and then we had what he would use as his office if he couldn't go into the office. So we had a computer back there with a printer. And in that room, I'm not kidding you, there was mold growing up the wall because it just stayed down.
Yeah, we probably have health issues because of that still.
That's right. So there's mold growing up the wall.
That's why you had cancer.
Oh, stop it. Okay, then, Rusty, that's not why I had cancer. If you're listening to this and you're in that church, you're not responsible. Okay, so mold up the wall. Then, this is my favorite part. You would try to run the printer, and you couldn't.
Well, we didn't even realize it at
Right.
first. We printed something.
Yes,
And
and
then we
it
were like,
just
what is wrong? We were like,
smeared.
what is wrong with this?
The ink just smeared across the paper, and we picked it up. We were like, "What is wrong with this paper?" And you pick it up, and it was literally like somebody had sprayed it with a water bottle.
The
because
paper was wet.
and the ink just smeared. So we might be back to those health issue things. Okay, hurry.
Okay,
Last
all
one.
right,
This is my favorite. And can I preface it by saying this? I went through some really hard seasons in that house. Sometimes I know Rusty was like, excuse me, your entitlement is showing, because I would be like, I'm not staying here. Like when the roach, I was like, I'm just over it. I'm just done. Well, I had worked myself up for decorating for Christmas, and it was going to be a beautiful night. I had the, music playing. We had fixed dinner, and we were decorating our first home.
That's right.
For Christmas. And I was like, I'm gonna do this well. Like I didn't. Okay, go.
Well, there was good reason for not doing it well. So we get in there, we've got the Christmas tree, and we're starting to start the decoration of the tree in the den living room area. And it was carpet. The floor was carpet in there. It wasn't carpet through the whole house, but there was carpet in our bedroom. Oh, there was carpet in the bathroom. The bathroom was carpeted.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
That was part
all right.
of the problem.
Anyway. All right. So we're in the den. There's carpet on the floor. And so I get down on the floor to start stringing the lights down on the bottom.
Yeah, you just knelt down.
So I get down on my knees. I'm stringing the lights and stuff. And I start getting the lights up, more up the tree, and I stand up, and Heather, you started laughing, I think.
And right before I cried.
Yeah, before you really realized it. But there were wet rings of water on my knees.
Where you had knelt
where
down
I
on
had
the
knelt
carpet.
down on the carpet. It was that wet in that place, and we really didn't even know it. And so I stood up in two circles right there on my knees where I had been on the carpet.
Yep. I think that was the last straw for me. I was like, this is not what God has called us to. I know.
Well, he called us out of there. We were there for 10 months, and then we started our own ministry.
Not
And-
this one.
No, not the marriage ministry. This was 20-something years
Yeah.
ago, and 25 years ago, I guess it was. And I say all the time that the Lord delivered me from youth ministry.
That's right.
Maybe I should just say He delivered us from that haunted house. But that was quite an experience. All right, so real quick, we got just a couple of minutes. What can we say that we really learned during that season? What did we learn about marriage? How can we relate that to our people that are listening?
I feel like I'm gonna kind of echo what I did last week, don't cut me off, because really those are some of the sweetest times when we had nothing. I mean, we had nothing except each other, and we laughed. And yes, you heard me say that I threw some fits and I cried, but looking back on those times, it was like, you know what? It was just me and you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We made it together. We turned some really, really disappointing and heartache and troubling times into some really funny things just because we were like, you know what? We're together.
Yeah.
And we're walking through this together. And again, I feel like I kind of said that same thing last week when we were talking about health, but it's just something about remembering that you're a team, and that whether you're laying in the bed listening to a Putin heater, or you're standing in each other's filth in the shower, or you see your spouse's toilet paper come up in the street, whatever it is, or health from last week, you're doing it together. And there's a sweet thing about claiming that and remembering that even when it's hard.
And I think that it's worth saying that there's people that listen to us that they might actually be in a season like that right now. And maybe you've been in a season of your marriage where, where I mean, like for us, we were fortunate and we were able to move out of that situation, and we live in a better place now, a nicer house. But there's some people that just can't do that, and they're stuck in some places where they just feel like, well, I don't have it as good as somebody else. And even then, it's just like what you said. You're together, and if you're going through life and the journey of marriage together, like even these harder times when you may not have as much as some friends, or you may be in a place, like it can be some of the sweetest times because you're just in it together and you're working at it together. And don't ever lose that.
That's
I
right.
mean,
That's
no matter if it gets better for you, or even if it gets worse, it's just,
or if you stay the same.
Yeah.
And look, our pastor has been preaching about heaven. So let me just tell you, even if you're stuck in a season like that, eternity is our home.
Yeah.
This is not our cinder block house. Even if we were still there, that's not our home. We're going to have a mansion in glory, and to do it well while you're on this earth, and to do everything, including your marriage, for the glory of God is important.
Yeah. And don't forget the stories. Like, don't make it one of those things where, I want to forget about that. Like, those are the great things about remembering just where you've been, the journey you've been on, up to where you are now. And so I think it's just important to, relive those things and laugh about it and tell the stories and tell your kids. I mean, your kids need to know that,
that
these
you walked 8 miles in the snow to school.
That's right. Uphill both ways. I mean, they need to know that. So tell them your stories, and they'll appreciate the things that they have a lot more too, and appreciate where you are in your marriage. So, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed another segment of We Got the Jokes.
We got jokes.
We got jokes. I don't know. We may call this one something else. We may just call this one The Haunted House and see what it does.
Yeah. See
All right.
whose attention it gets.
That's right. Hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.